Go.
Hey, man. Oh, hey, man. We're going to have to trim that down. Hey, man. I might leave it up. So, Grand Solar Minimum. It's a thing, I think. Now, this is anecdotal evidence. So, Grand Solar Minimum, why I'm not too scared. I'm a little worried, but not too scared. But, so here in Georgia, we're in extreme northeast Georgia. Well, not extreme north, but fairly extreme northeast Georgia. The temperature this next week isn't getting into the 90s. Was it the 10-day forecast you said?
Yes, sir.
The 10-day forecast has no 90-degree days in it at all. So today is July 16th or 17th?
17th?
Today's mid-July. We're past the midpoint of July. We should be just sweltering. From now to the end of August should just be blah. And even the first part of September should be just atrocious. We have a high this week in the 70s. I think it's 78 or 79. Mariah was telling me all this. I didn't see it myself. Now, I know that's anecdotal, and that doesn't really mean anything. But last year was a noticeably cooler summer too. The whole summer. I don't remember us hitting 100 once. I remember remarking on the fact that we hit 100. You know, I work outside. I'm up on roofs a lot. You know, I notice the heat. And I'm 45, I'm about to be 46. I noticed the heat. And it wasn't too extreme last year. And now this year looks like it's even being less extreme than it was the year before. I am highly susceptible to the Grand Solar Minimum. You better just go ahead and show that. You wanna show the people your okra? Okay, so Grand Solar Minimum, I think it's a thing. Now, I'm not a prophet, I'm not a scientist, I'm just a guy, but I think the Grand Solar Minimum has some truth to it. Now, conversely, right now, we all know in the Northwest, they're screaming about these high temperatures in the Northwest and the West and the droughts, and so, maybe they average each other out and it's not that big a deal, but one of the things the Grand Solar Minimum says is that the jet stream gets wonky. I don't really, like I said, I'm not a scientist, but the jet stream gets wonky and it starts pulling hot air up some places and cool air down some places. But if the Grand Solar Minimum's a thing, we got to at least be thinking about food supplies, because what it's done in the past, and in some years past, there's been places where there was not a single month without a freezing low. So essentially there was no growing season. There's nothing that you can plant that doesn't need at least 2 months to grow. So in those years where every month had, late July had a freeze and early June had a freeze. So if you could have timed it perfectly, you might have been able to get some crops in. And but in those years, when it gets so cold and the farther north you are, you got major crop losses and major food shortages and food inflation and even famine and starvation. And so we at least need to be thinking about it. Why am I not too concerned? Well, let me show you. There's a few reasons why I'm not too concerned. We got a garden haul today. Check this out. We just ran through the sweet corn just briefly and pulled, I don't know, what do you think? Is there 50 years here?
I have no idea.
Yeah, that's a total guess. Half a wheelbarrow full. We picked the cabbage too late. Are all these cucumbers?
Yes.
A bucket of cucumbers and a bunch of summer squash, which we unfortunately don't eat, but we should learn to eat.
We don't eat.
I really don't care if we eat it right now. I care that we grow it, because if we grow it, I can just throw this in the compost pile now, but if I am hungry one day, I have the skill set, the infrastructure in place to, this summer squash just grows like mad. So let me show you what we got going. Right, I'm pretty excited. Let's start with our, check this sucker out, Jack and the Beanstalk here. That's a sunflower.
I can't even.
You can't even get it all? We're gonna save this and plant these seeds again.
Let me get some perspective.
Get some perspective. Get some perspective, woman.
No trip and fall. I still can't get it. Oh, there we go.
We are going to save every seed off of this and plant this again. I'm in love with this giant thing. It could just be because it's over here, off here by itself. That's a volunteer from last year. It just came up. All of those sunflowers are volunteers. We didn't plant any of them. So here's what I want you to focus in, laser focus. Everything I'm about to show you is on less than a half an acre. This is less than a half an acre that I'm about to show you. All that corn, and obviously that's not like, you know, a year's worth of corn. All that corn was just running through real quick, grabbing the stuff that was ready early on, you know, whatever we got going on there. There's probably 100-foot, actually it's probably 50-foot rows, 20, let's just say 50 by 25, and that was it. We've already pulled half can. I'm sorry I didn't get this recorded for you. This empty spot right here, that was all our half canicus taterificus this year. They did great. They've never done well for us before this year, I think, because it was a little cooler and a little wetter. They did great. We got, it was Kennebec was the type, right? I keep saying Kenny Bunkport, but that's something else entirely. Kennebec was the variety, and they did fantastic for us. We've got all this empty space, but this particular spot right here is just because we harvested this already, and we haven't planted anything back in it because honestly, this is as much work as we can handle right here, as Mariah can handle. Okra, that's what the baby boy was trying to show you. Okra makes everybody feel like a master gardener. This year, for the first time, we tried to put in some flowers just to bring in some pollinators. It worked. I can see them right here. That's a yellow jacket. I saw a red wasp earlier. There's a honeybee right there. Check that out. He's covered in pollen. Oh, he flew off. I'm sorry. Oh, he came back. Look, he's covered in pollen. That's pretty cool. We're going to try to do more of that in the future. So the reason why I'm showing this to you, this is not a garden tour. This is Grand Solar Minimum. This is prepping, buddy. This is prepping on less than a half an acre. It's between a third and a half, so let's say 3/8 of an acre. Let's be specific. Our bean tunnel we tried for the first time this year. We really like it. We're going to do it some more. I had 6 panels, but I didn't put them all up. But this is just a good use of space. You know, if you don't have a lot of horizontal space, you go vertical. And this is a way, there's a bumblebee. This is a way to go vertical. All right, we're going to try to make this quick because I know you men have better things to do. Popcorn. We do popcorn every year. It's fun. You see my tobacco come down here?
You can walk up there.
Oh, there's some right there. There's the little stuff right there. This is, in my opinion, a trade good. You know, in a real grid down scenario, there's going to be a bunch of, Jeff, I'm talking to you, brother, a bunch of nicotine fiends who are just, they'll trade anything for a nicotine fix. Also, you can make a really powerful insecticide with it, but you got to be careful because it can actually be too powerful. And the chickens are back in the tomatoes.
You want to go up and see the big
Oh, all
tobacco?
right. Yeah, let's go up real quick. I just don't want there to be a bunch of,
Walking?
well, yeah, a bunch of dead space. Here's the big ones. These are doing better because I think they've got more sun. Although we kind of give them a little bit of shade because they're supposed to be better in the shade. They don't get veiny or something. And you can see there's not very many insects on them. There will be some insect damage, but then like the insect's gone. I can't help but wonder if he kills himself with the nicotine, because the nicotine is highly poisonous to insects. We're going to be on the wrong side of the garden for where I wanted to end up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right. No, it's fine.
Mom,
What?
I saw the butterfly. On the wind on the flower.
Beans or peas?
Peas.
Peas. That whole block is
Whippoorwill.
whippoorwill peas. Look how
Thomas Jefferson grew them.
they're growing up around each other and suppressing the weeds. We never tried this method before, but we're going to have to get in there and stomp through there to pick them, I guess. What is this? Peppers? What's past the peppers? Squash?
Squash,
And then beans,
beans, butter beans,
butter beans, squash.
butternut squash,
Oh yeah, there's one right there.
cucumber.
Fortunately, the weeds got away from us here. But my theory is that the vine plants can take it,
Sweet potatoes.
and sweet potatoes. Except these are morning glories. But morning glories are closely related to sweet potatoes. So we have, how many? We put 200 sweet potato plants in?
Approximately, yeah.
So now think about this, man. 200 sweet potato plants, we can get 5 pounds per plant on average. We can easily get 1 pound per plant. That's not even trying. But if you think about that, and I think that one year when we had all those big ones, I think we got about 10 pounds per plant. I know you're frowning. I tend towards hyperbole and exaggeration. But 5 pounds of sweet potatoes per plant, I don't think we will do that video this year. We'll take 10, we'll harvest 10, we'll average the weights, and we'll see. There is legitimately a chance for 1,000 pounds of sweet potatoes right here, in this square that's all grown up. Most of it's sweet potatoes, not all of it. Some of that's the cucumbers, but. And we've let it, that year we got all those huge ones, and I'm saying we might have had 10 pounds per plant. We let the weeds go, and it didn't seem to affect yields at all. Maybe it affected some yields, I don't know. But 1,000 pounds of calories right there. That's our calorie crop. And what is, that's 50 by, let's say that's 50 by 60. We don't plant intensively. We should plant a little more. Maybe we can have to weed a little less. But like I said, we have a hard enough time keeping up.
Whoa.
Okay, you can't see it really well. There's some Spanish peanuts up there. The sweet potatoes come out to about right here. Spanish peanuts. And then I can't remember what variety these peanuts are. This is our fat. Oil, you can get fats and oils out of these. This is something we lack in our preparedness plan is the peanuts. As you can see, some of them are doing better than others. Is this enough food to keep us alive for a year? Absolutely not. But it is enough food to supplement to where we can stay alive. I wouldn't say indefinitely, but a lot. And like I said, half acre. Vast swaths of people in this nation have a half acre of land or a quarter. I think about a quarter acre. I've seen people talk about being self-sufficient on a quarter acre, where they could grow intensively enough. Now I'm sure that's your life at that point, but there's worse lives. You could be outside sweating, eating healthy. So Grand Solar Minimum, I think it's coming, and I'm not too concerned with what. Boy, it's stuck. With what will be available commercially, and what we can grow ourselves, we're going to be okay. And you can really skip. I shouldn't say we're going to be okay, because only God can say that. But I don't feel like we're in danger of starvation. I mean, how many of you are in danger of starving in the first 2 weeks? Well, you can't starve to death in 2 weeks. But how many of you are in danger of starving to death in the first 3 months? You can starve to death in 3 months. I mean, you can starve to death in, I don't really know, I shouldn't speculate. But you can start having serious health concerns pretty quick. Your teeth start falling out, your hair recedes, you can start having organ damage. Children's growth is stunted. Old people will die a little quicker. Hey, shh, we're talking. Or you could take a half acre of your useless yard, because that's all grass is. Grass is useless. You've got to mow your grass, you've got to seed your grass, you water your grass. You have this, I see people out here with literally 15-acre front yards, easily. I can think of multiple houses within several miles of where we sit, where there's multiple acres of grass in the front yard, and they've got to have giant tractors to mow their front yard. why? Why? First off, why? Even if you don't want to grow food, just plant some damn trees, you know? I mean, why would you just have all this open grass? Plant some pecans or something. I don't know. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But you can do this. You can grow easily on a half acre. I mean, we don't even try. We get discouraged halfway through. The weeds take over. We go, pfft. And we still grow hundreds and hundreds of pounds of food a year. And Mariah sells hundreds and hundreds. Wow. What you made what, $700 last year at the farmer's market?
Something like that.
She paid our property taxes and a little more, entirely off of, she's done that 2 years in a row, I think, entirely off of this garden. And then, we give food away. And I just took 4 years of corn up to the neighbor because I'm like, oh, what do we do? Oh, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. We're going to have hundreds of ears of that sweet corn to deal with in the next couple days. This is doable. You can do this. You can do this. Don't talk to me about your tomato plants in pots. I guarantee you now some of you live in cities and apartments and condominiums, and some of you are 85 years old and you can't bend over anymore, and that's okay. But some of you have a quarter to a half acre of grass just sitting. Some of you live in HOAs and things like that. But still, I bet the vast swath of you have enough space in your backyard where you could grow several hundred pounds of food. Because the Grand Solar Minimum is probably coming, and even if it's not, something else is. Look at the world, man. It is not going well. You don't want to live in fear. I don't want to be a fear monger. I don't want to do fear porn. But you don't have to be afraid. You don't have to live in fear. This is how you don't live in fear. Sitting around doing nothing, peace only comes through strength. Not living in fear is peace. That's part of peacefulness. I would say it's probably the largest part. And strength comes through work and having what you need and invest in the sweat equity. I meant to have a verse, but I forgot to look it up. But it's Genesis 3:17. We were just reading it today, 17 and 18. Because we're coming for you, David Wilbur. I hate you. I'm reading your book. Oh, you're an animal. You're not even an animal. You're an insect. You're a Japanese beetle. All a little shiny and iridescent and destructive. Anyway, it's by toil, by the sweat of our brow, that we'll take our food from the ground. And that is coming again. We've been too blessed for too long, and we've squandered it. Men, we appreciate you. Thank you.